the one-time pride of King Henry VIII's navy. That's our nautical postcard today, the Mary Rose in Portsmouth, Hampshire. Well, I never. The Mary Rose. Stuart, what was your part in bringing her up?
My part in bringing her up was to attend to the ladies and gentlemen of the media on board the press vessel, watching the whole event. But prior to that, I was the fine supervisor on board the diving vessel.
And what was the experience like? Because was it spooky, was it scary?
It was very, very exciting. When the first timbers broke the water for the first time in 437 years, there were sirens going off, people cheering. It was a fabulous experience.
Lots and lots of water coming down, and I was quite intelligent when I walked in, wasn't I?
You certainly were.
Because I said, is it because she's been underwater so long that if you bring her up and leave her in the air, would she split and shrink?
Yes, all the wood is waterlogged, and if you let it dry out, the only thing holding the wood cells structured together is the pressure of the water within it. So you have to replace that with a wax. And so we keep spraying her with a wax solution, and very gradually that will replace the water inside the wood cells and bulk them out. So when we let her dry out eventually, she won't split or crack.
And how long have you got to keep doing that with wax?
15 to 20 years, roughly.
And how long have we been going?
About 3 years now.
Did she actually fight any battles?
Yes, she was involved in 3 wars against the French. In 1513, she fought an absolutely ferocious battle near Brest, and was said to have crippled the French admiral's ship with a single shot, which wrecked their mainmast. She also took part in another war in 1522, again invading France, and of course the final battle in the Solent, where she was lost.
Why did she sink?
Well, that's a very good question. There's a lot of different stories. The French say their galley sunk her with gunfire, which is extremely unlikely. The best evidence we can put together is that she sank by accident. A handling mistake with possible indiscipline amongst the crew or misunderstanding the orders. A very simple mistake that any yachtsman could make, but with rather more severe consequences.
But obviously destiny, fate, call it what you like, allowed her to sink so close to Portsmouth that eventually she was raised.
Exactly. We're very lucky in that respect.
All these cannons came up with the Mary Rose, and if you look closely, you can see inscriptions on there. This is in Latin. And it says, Henry VIII, by the grace of God, King of England and France, Defender of the Faith, Lord of Ireland, and on earth supreme head of the Church of England. That's what it says on there in Latin. That's what it says on there in English. And these, with Henry's coat of arms, and Henry VIII are Henry VIII Rex. I mean, just touching these, to think that these went down all those years ago and came back up intact. HR8 and the Tudor Rose. Now you might wonder what went on in that little cabin. Well, it was actually the barber surgeon's cabin, because he'd not only cut your hair, but he'd also cut your leg off if it needed cutting. This is quite an incredible exhibition. Incredible because I've travelled all over the world and seen many museums and other places that conserve history. But what I find so absolutely gobsmacking about this place is that everything here came up with the ship, the Mary Rose, and it's all original. I mean, look over here, for instance. You've got the barber surgeon's chest with all of the different bottles and vessels and jugs in there of things that he would use. And some of the, well, look, the needle. And over here, the urethral syringe, because syphilis was rife. And so what they used to do, they used to inject the person with mercury to get rid of it. Needless to say, it didn't work. But you know what? This has now become a mecca for doctors, for people of the medical profession. They come here to see how life was like and what they used in the Tudor age. What a find, what a treasure this all is. Sniff and tell, it tells of the history of the Tudor age. There is the tar that was originally on there to act as a preservative to the rope, and you can to this day still smell the tar. I mean, this is what this is all about. This is a living exhibition, but it's also teaching us about how life was like in the Tudor age. They've made discoveries about the longbow, for instance, that there was a covering of horn, which proved more to longbow experts simply through what they brought up with the Mary Rose than they could ever know unless they had the proof. And the Mary Rose has actually given them the proof. I mean, this was one of the last things to come up when they brought the ship up. It's the cast bronze watch bell, and it was actually cast in the year 1510, a year before the Mary Rose was launched. And they think that the bell was probably made by Peter van der Geyn the first of Michelin, that's in Belgium, who also cast bells for Iona Cathedral and Peterhouse College in Cambridge. Well, I think your Henry's lost a bit of weight, Stuart, don't you?
He's looking a little thinner than he should be, yes.
But there he is. What do we know about Henry? He had a real fascination about ships, didn't he?
Henry loved his ships. He was fascinated by the sailing, his interest in the guns, and his interest in all aspects of war. He's a very, very intelligent man. He's a typical Renaissance king, really.
Now, why did he name his ship the Mary Rose?
He had a younger sister called Mary who he was very fond of, and we believe that his ship was named after her. And the rose is the Tudor emblem.
Oh, so he joined the two together. And was it his flagship?
It was when it was first launched, yes. It would have been a very, very gay sight, flags flying, streamers and banners, magnificent ship.
And he had over 40 ships in the end in the Navy when he departed this world.
Over 60.
Over 60?
Yes.
Right, sorry, I lost him 20 there.
It's more than the French ever did.
Yeah, maybe they're all out there, Stuart. You've got to dig them up.
We should be so lucky.
So, what was his form of battle? Because it was an interesting time of transition in armaments then, wasn't it? We'd gone from the longbow into gunpowder by then, hadn't we?
Well, everybody else had, but we were still very keen on the longbow. The longbow does have some advantages. It's got a higher rate of fire. The difficulty with the longbow is that it's you have to be trained from a very young age. I mean, English children started around about the age of 7 using the longbow and kept it up through the rest of their lives. And there are restrictions on playing other games, particularly on Sundays. After church, it was longbow practice time. None of this going around playing football and sort of other deviant pursuits.
And what were some of his notable naval victories then?
The classic naval victory would be probably the one at Brest, so in 1513, where the French lost one of their biggest ships. Unfortunately, so did we. The two ships grappled, they caught fire and both sank with a loss of something well over 1,000 men. But the battle in the Solent, where the Mary Rose was lost, it wasn't really a battle. The French fleet couldn't get at the English fleet, and the wind wouldn't let us get at them. They'd invaded the Isle of Wight. The French had actually invaded the Isle of Wight.
Had they?
Yes. The battle was fairly inconclusive. The French eventually just withdrew.
And that was
So
that.
we won.
We won.
They went away, we won.
So he took his ships and went home.
Yes.
Except the Mary Rose.
Except, unfortunately, the Mary Rose. They did try and lift her just after she sank. They actually got Venetian salvage experts in to try and raise her, literally days after she sank. But they failed. Fortunately for us.